Yes, yes, yes. What is good, my people? Welcome back to the 4th year of the weekly homework assignment / podcast. First of all, how the hell is everybody doing, man? Jeez, this feels like it's been so long since we've done this. And I'm so happy to get things started officially for the year. So we've done the Dilla tribute. We did the Bang Show. Shout out to Gigahertz, who actually gave us the intro for this particular week, who won that. And now we are back to bang out the weekly homework assignment and podcast, hopefully until the end of the year. Now, for anybody that's brand new, welcome. For anybody that's returning and veterans at watching this and supporting us, welcome back. But in case you have no idea what this is, over at computermusicacademy.com, we do this thing called the weekly homework assignment. And that's where I give you an assignment every week. Create a track like this, only use this, blah, blah, blah. And basically you have 7 days to return a finished product based on that assignment. Now, we actually take off a few months out of the year to, give everybody a break. And normally when we stop, it's around the holidays, Christmas and New Year's and whatnot. But, we take a few months off. I can reset some things. Everybody else can reset, work on some other things, and then we reconvene. So with the way I set things up this particular year with the Dilla tribute, and we did the Bang Show, and then we didn't start the assignment until April, we actually had an event happen. Just 2-3 weeks now ago from now, and that was we lost our big brother in hip hop. That would be Phife Dawg, aka Malik Taylor. And for those of us who are of age, who are real hip hop fans, who really enjoyed, the boom bap kind of East Coast, somewhat conscious sound, but just good music in general. Most chances are you were a Tribe Called Quest fan, period. And waking up that day hearing that Phife was going, that ruined my day. It literally ruined my day, the same way it did when Heavy D passed, and may they both rest in peace. But man, I said we have to do something, as we normally do here at CMA. When we lose somebody, or we also honor people when they're still alive. If they've contributed and inspired, great music and inspired us to create great music, we have to honor them. And since that happened right before we started the assignment, I was like, we got to get this out of the way early. So here we are, man, and I'm ready to go. Shout out to everybody that's watching right now. Hopefully you enjoyed that first episode last week, introducing the class of 2016. And we have expanded something ridiculous. We have an influx, a ridiculous amount of new members. And shout out to everybody that's all the new members and all the current vet members over at CMA. But this week we have 13 submissions, and hopefully we're going to give you bigger, better podcast this year and from here on out. So let me quit talking. Let's get things started off with a gentleman who literally just came in like a couple days after I gave the assignment. And he was like, I got to jump in. So shout out to my man, Ron B, brand new member at CMA. Let's see what he's doing.
Phife Dawg. 5 for the sauce. Phife Dawg. Funky diabetic.
mask down.
Phife Dawg.
I kicks the mask down.
Phife Dawg.
I kicks the mask down.
Phife Dawg.
I kicks the mask down.
Phife Dawg.
Mask down.
Woo! Ron B. And I believe he's from North Carolina, I believe. Yo, way to kick it off, bruh. First submission. And he got in. He was the first person to actually submit for this particular assignment. He was the first person to return his. So way to kill it, my man. I loved everything about that. The tempo was nice. He actually said he used an Alex Coltrane sample. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that. Turiya Ramakrishna. I'm sorry. I do apologize to Miss Coltrane. But yeah, he used that sample, and I love the drums. I love the hats. I really like. I'm an open hi-hat fan, so when they're used effectively, and I love the way he used it in this track. Drums banging. Nice little bass line that was subtle but still present. I like the chops and like the horns and everything, the pianos. I love the Phife Dawg sample from Check the Round. I kicks the mat style, so step off the Frankfurter. Oh, man. Yeah, I like that. But then he actually scratched that in. He said scratched it in. I don't know if he did it. Hopefully he did. If not, he had somebody else do it. It still worked out perfectly. Overall, great track, my man. Had a couple different patterns where it stuff was coming in and going out, and occasional. I think I heard like a drop or two. Either way, very solid track. Very, very solid debut at CMA and for the WHA, my man. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. Thank you, sir. All right, moving on to one of our veterans. This is my man right here, and it looks like he's going to be on point this year and constantly contributing because I've put my foot in his butt. Anyhow, shout out to my man representing Detroit, Third Degree. Let's go.
Everybody, keep your head up. Keep your head up. Keep your head up. Everybody, keep your head up. Keep your head up. Keep your head up. Everybody, keep your head up. Keep your head up. Keep your head up. Everybody, keep your head up. Keep your head up. Keep your head up. Keep your head up.
Yes, sir. Third Degree doing his thing for episode 117. I like that joint a lot. It's a couple of things I would definitely suggest. I actually do. I like the beat. I appreciate it. I really do. Some things that I would suggest. The drums are a little too clean for me. Just a preference. Especially because it seems like he went for almost a boom bap type of style, which that's what they did at ATCQ. I would suggest dirtying up the drums a little bit. Be it a little filter, a little bit reduction, just a little bit. Make them, make them a little dirty, but make them pop. You know what I'm saying? And the drums that he used are not bad. If you were to actually go back and do just a little bit of filter, high and low or whatever, and a little bit crushing, bring it down to maybe like a 12 or something like that. That would definitely help that. I would also suggest bringing up the chords in the background. The chords are beautiful. I love the chords that he actually used, they need to come up a little bit. They were just a little too low. And I think that would have filled that out a little bit more, especially because he used, and shout out for using this, he used an upright bass. I love upright basses. I love using them in hip hop music or any type of music, but definitely because we do hip hop. I love the way that was. But yeah, I would definitely bring the chords up, dirty up the drums. And one other thing I would definitely suggest, this sounded slightly stiff. I would definitely go with some quantized. I'm sorry, no, not quantizing. I would definitely go with a little swing. You know what I'm saying? I've actually come to, we use Machine. I know he uses Machine just like I do. And I used to do 50% quantization. Quantization, yeah. If I ever did any type of quantizing. Because I still wanted to have a slightly human feel. But now I'm getting to the point where I'm not using that at all. I just do my best to nail it the first time. And then I've been using a lot of swing. Not a lot, but I actually add swing to my drums. And it works. Trust me. If you were to go back, not necessarily recreate it, just, save as, create another file, and then try those improvements, trust me, I think you're going to be very impressed with what you come up with, especially, like I said, with the drums. You redo that pattern, don't quantize it, and then throw like a 25% swing, a 20 to a 25% swing on it and see how that feels. And you'll probably mess around and start doing other stuff to it and filling it out a little bit more. And that's the other thing I would definitely suggest is having one or two other patterns, just something to change it up and fill it out a little bit. But the track was only like a minute and 30. And that's totally fine. But yeah, if you plan on using this, at least take the suggestion and try it out and see if that works out for you. But other than that, very nice submission. Very solid, my man. It's good to see you back in the fold. All right, coming to a gentleman that came through last week with the shortest intro of all. Joey was like, yeah, my name is Joey and this is my track. No, he said, my name is Joey. I'm a new member of CMA. Shout out to my man, OK Joey. Let's get it in.
And now for our feature presentation.
Yes, sir. OK Joey doing his thing, checking in for week 117. Very nice. I like that. I like the drums. I like the choice of samples. And definitely the pattern and everything was very cool. My only nitpick, I won't say complaint, my only nitpick is that even though this is a short submission, this is only like a minute and 25 seconds or whatnot, it definitely needed another change up or two. Definitely at least one more. It had, which was kind of two patterns or sequences. I would definitely suggest having something else, because if you saw around the 55 to a minute mark, seemed like he kind of ran out of things to do because he kept switching back and forth between the two patterns. And if you have another change up, if you have drops, if you have mutes and stuff like that, where you actually play around with what you do have in the track, and then you have at least one or two more patterns to go to, that's definitely going to fill that track out. And people are not going to lose their attention span is not going to be lost, quickly into the track, because I would say around the 35-minute mark is where you heard everything in the track. But again, if you had that extra stuff in there, if you had those different, like I said, the mutes or the drops, or just periods where just this was playing versus everything else, that kind of thing, that would definitely help fill the track out a little bit more. Plus, there wasn't a lot to the track to begin with. There was like a bass line, and there was like the chord sequence and the drums. That's pretty much it, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, definitely I would suggest definitely trying to add just a little bit more, and if it's not in that particular pattern, when you switch to that next pattern, that's when you have other stuff going on. But, overall, really did like the track. He didn't say what sample he used or anything. It would have been nice to know that. But, dude, very nice. I see you working. Let's keep on working. Welcome. And thank you for being a part, my man. All right, going on to a gentleman that I have a lot of respect for. I've actually come to know fairly well over the last couple of months. Now, if you have no idea, I co-host this hangout / podcast with my man Gadget, aka Digital Hustler from Digital Hustle Films, on Friday nights, youtube.com / Digital Hustle Films, Friday nights at 9 p.m. EST. And I've been doing this with him for the last couple of months, and I've actually met a lot of people as a result of that. And once again, as a result of that, we have a lot of the members that we have at CMA now, which is very cool. So shout out to Gadget for bringing me on for that particular show. This gentleman right here, I've actually known for quite some time, and he made sure that he let me know that when we first got a chance to kick it in the hangout. So my man has finally joined CMA. He's making his debut. My man, Netmaker. Let's see what he's doing.
Rest in peace, Phife, Dicky Dawg. Rest in peace, Phife. Rest in peace, Phife. Rest. Rest in peace, Phife, Dicky Dawg. Rest in peace, Phife, right.
Young Netmaker doing his thing, making his debut at CMA and his WHA debut. All right, let's unpack it. It's actually a pretty cool track. There's definitely some work we got to do with Net, and that's all good. That's the reason why he joined. One thing that definitely stands out is a couple. First of all, the actual samples and stuff that he used were very cool. I actually like the sample and drum selection that he used. Very cool. The thing that sticks out the most about this track to me, two very important things. One, I swear I was listening to Motown because everything is hard panned. Like the kick is over here and the snare is over here. That's what it felt like. Same thing with like a bass line here and the chords over here, that kind of thing. Everything is hard pan. I don't know if that was by design or if that was something that was done unintentionally. I'm not 100% sure. But I know he's still very new to Ableton Live, and that's what we're going to help him out as far as using Live, and just in general, we're going to help he and everybody else that comes over to CMA, help them as far as creating their beats. But that was one thing. The other thing was that one thing I do appreciate, there was a few different sequences in this particular track. A couple of different change-ups, some stuff got moved in certain places, and that's cool. I really do appreciate that. But the sequences themselves, at least a couple of them, seemed like they were off. Like the timing was off. Like the drums didn't, if it was boom, ta, ta, that kind of thing, where it was like the drums felt off in certain places, and they didn't match up with once the sequence came back around to one. That's what it felt like. I can go back and take a listen to it, but that's what it felt like. And we got to work on that. We got to work on filling those sequences out, making sure they stretch to the 4 or the 8 count, whatever you're doing, and everything fits and swings, a certain way. But overall, very cool track. Very cool track. I thought the Rest in Peace sample was kind of overdone, especially when you took it up to different keys and whatnot. But I do feel the tribute. I do appreciate the tribute. But we definitely got some stuff to work on, my man. Not a bad track at all. Just some minor tweaks would actually fix it, truth be told. And that's why we're here, my brother. So we are going to get that popping. Trust that. And y'all hang around and see Netmaker in a few months. And dude is going to be killing it. I promise that. Because he actually is very dope with what he does. So, yeah, we're going to make that happen. Netmaker, thank you, sir. All right, coming up to another one of our vets who actually is back with us this year. I'm excited to see what this dude is going to do this year because I know he's grown. My man, 18th Dynasty. Jersey represent. Let's go. Jeez, oh Pete, 18th Dynasty. Ugh, that was nasty. Man, I wish I knew what sample that was. He didn't put it in the notes. Man, that's what I'm talking about. That's that East Coast early to mid 90s boom bap jazz. Just nasty. Bravo, sir. Loved everything about that. Loved the drums, the way they hit, the way they had a nice little swing. Definitely loved the sample and the different chops used. I'm assuming it was all from the same song, but if not, either way, very dope way to match them up. It was mixed very well too, because I'm looking at the wave, and the wave is on point. Very, very nice, my man. But yeah, everything about this joint, whew, solid as a rock. I don't have anything else more to say except for thank you, man. Jeez, oh Pete. Whew. Good God. Thank you, Dynasty. All right, we're going to go we're going to go West Coast now. Hollering at my man representing Inland Empire, Gemini 4D. Let's go. Inland Empire represent Gemini 4D. Good God, that was dope. Yo, look, so if I didn't explain it before, I'm not 100% sure, but with this particular tribute, and with actually most of the tributes that we do, you know, it's creating in this case, a Tribe Called Quest type beat, or something that you think Phife would appreciate and he would have killed lyrically, because you know he did a lot of solo work as well. So I'm going to go out and on a limb and say that Gemini actually went with the Dilla era of Tribe Called Quest. Jeez, OP, that joint is hard. I loved everything about that. That's that if I'm not mistaken, it's the same. Is it Ahmad Jamal sample for The Stakes Is High? I believe that's the same joint. Man, I love the way he used it though. No. That's Electric Relaxation, if I'm not mistaken. That's the same joint, right? But man, I love the way he used it. I love the way it started out with a very slowed down and stretched sample of the original. That definitely helps us out on YouTube as well. But then when the beat actually did kick in, the way he took the original and, like, for instance, he took the bass line, which was again like an acoustic bass, upright bass, and he actually replayed using those notes from the original bass line. Very dope. I love everything else about the original sample that he used. Drums, stupid, especially that clap. Shock. Oh my God, stupid. But then it breaks down around the 135 where it actually goes into like a filter thing. Oh my God. Then he had a couple of parts where he just dropped it out and hit that clap. Oh my God. Very, very, very dope, my man. Jeez, you would think that dude was from the East Coast or at least from Detroit. Gemini, my man. Thank you, sir. That was a great submission. All right, we're gonna keep it on the West Coast and see what my man Ray D 3000 is doing. Let's go.
This is live and direct. This is live and direct. Live and direct. You know what live and direct mean? I want you all to do something for me, right? I want to hear you say yeah!
Sacramento's finest, Ray D 3000 does it again. Jeez, oh Pete. That was incredibly dope. Oh man, that was dope. I really enjoyed that one. I liked everything about that. Man, first of all, it had the original guitar sample. I forgot what artist that is that they took that from. But it had the from Bonita Applebum, which was very dope. I really enjoyed that. But then it was more of, from what I understand, what I heard, it was more of an original composition, more, dare I say, organic. Really enjoy the drums, the drum work, the different samples and sounds that he used, that filtered keys. Oh my God, that was dope. I'm talking about throughout the main sample. We'll get to the second part. All of that stuff was dope. I really, really, really appreciated that. I would definitely, is one or two things I would definitely suggest. The percussion, like the tambourine, and then there was like almost like a wood block or something. It seemed like it was a little too loud. Like it was present, but a little too present, because I almost wanted to turn down my headphones. That, and then there was something else that was a little high. I would definitely go back and check the mix. Bring, as I've said many times, and let's begin saying it this year, the podcast is not the final destination. The podcast is just another step in the evolution of that track, because you should still try to get that track in someone else's hands and get paid for it. That's the ultimate goal, is that we're here to make music and hopefully make a few bucks from it in the process. And that's one of the things, that's one of the reasons why we do stuff like the podcast. One, to help improve our skills here. Two, to give us exposure. And most of all, with the podcast, you're getting criticism from myself, from the rest of the community, and of course from our viewers, and you should take all of that, improve upon the track, and then, you can release it down the line with someone else or in your own album. And there's a couple of people who have done that, who actually have taken their WHA submissions and actually turned them into, projects. So yeah. But anyhow, if that's what you're going to do, Ray D, I would definitely suggest checking on that mix, bringing those couple of elements, definitely that percussion. And it was one more thing that was very high in the mix. Even that out a little bit more, my man. But other than that, oh, and then I forgot about the second part. That was nuts. Holy crap. Very, very dope. Overall, very dope track, my man. Good to see you back. Good to see you constantly working. So thank you for that. All right. Moving right along to a gentleman that I spent some time with this weekend through the hour hangout that we do on Friday nights, and representing Gary, Indiana. Now he's representing Northern Louisiana. My man, Davenport. Let's go.
If it sound good and it feel good, then it's musical.
Take me interchange. 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 Take me interchange.
Yes, yes, yes. Davenport doing his thing, man. Whew. Yeah, that was pretty dope. That was very dope. So, a couple of things I need to say about that track. First of all, it was way too long. Now, I actually have, a limit in which we do the submissions, and that's around 2:30. And if you're over by a few seconds or whatever, it's not a big deal. You either slightly over or or below. So I had to cut it there. Now, with that being said, there was probably at least a good minute and a half that was within that beat that it was pretty much the same pattern. Now, he did have the different James Brown samples, and I'll get to that in a second, but it was pretty much the same pattern. That didn't vary at all. There was two. Now I think about it, it actually kicked in after the James Brown intro, which was from the movie. I still haven't seen that yet, but that came from the movie, and it kicked off around the 20-second mark, and it actually had a very small pattern, and then it actually kicked into the one main pattern. That was cool, but again, not too much else happened throughout that good minute or so of that main pattern. No change-ups, no drops or anything like that. Now, the James Brown samples, those were cool, but my only thing is, if you're going to present this to somebody to rap over, they're not going to want to have James constantly in the background every couple of measures. I promise you that as a retired rapper myself. So I would definitely work on consolidating the track. I'll go back now later on and actually listen to the rest of it, because if it changed up afterwards, then that's too late. What you really have to focus on, if you're playing these beats for somebody, you have to get their attention. You only got so many minutes. So you're not going to have them sit there and wait for almost a 4-minute song until it actually gets to something good. You have to catch their attention early and keep their attention and keep their mind, firing off on all cylinders, especially if you're trying to get them to write something to it. You have to give them something. So I would definitely suggest that to Davenport. Make sure you get it in. Flat out. Y'all know I'm a big wrestling fan, and there's this term called let me get my stuff in. Let me get my special move, my finisher, whatever it is to make the match, the crowd pop. That's the same thing we can apply to when we're creating these beats. Make sure you get your stuff in as early as possible. If you got any different tricks or whatever, get it in. Don't wait and say, yeah, it comes in at the 3-minute or whatever it is. No, handle that business up front and as quickly as possible. And you'll definitely keep their attention. Overall, I did like the track. I love the drums. I love the samples that you used, which was the original sample for Check the Rhyme, which was very dope. Just a little bit of it. I like the way it was filtered and it was like stretched and repeated. I really appreciated that. Like I said, the James Brown stuff kind of threw me off because it was constant. It wasn't like once every 8 or 16 bars. It was like every couple of bars, which is very distracting. Other than that, I did like the track, but definitely take what I'm saying and make sure you get your stuff in, my man. So thank you for submitting. Definitely, my man. All right, let's head down to South Carolina with my man, DJ Lockturnal. What you got?
Internal, external,
DJ Lockturnal. Damn. Yes, sir. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I've come to love and appreciate about Lock. And I've told the story multiple times. Lock came to us, it will be 2 years in the summer, if I'm not mistaken. And he came to us, I think he said with about 6 months or less experience of making beats. And you see what he's producing now. Constant. This dude is constantly submitting to the podcast, getting practice in, and still doing not submissions, but still doing beats on top of that. You're not required to do the weekly homework assignment. But if you want to improve, it's highly suggested that you do so, because the more you practice, the better you're going to become. It's just that simple. But that's one thing I really love about Lock. Lock is constantly in the podcast. And in this close to 2 years he's been with us, dude may have missed 3, no more than 4 assignments in over 2 years. Yeah. So shout out to that alone. This track, now, and he says it himself, even though this isn't quite an ATCQ type track, but he said definitely he can see Phife killing that. I can see Phife killing that too, because Phife is one of my favorite MCs of all time. It's just that simple. And dude was horrid. So yeah, I could see him over there. This is almost like, matter of fact, I think this was used by, if not RZA using it, it was definitely used by Wu-Tang on one of their songs. I definitely remember hearing that joint. But yeah, loved everything about this joint. Drums, chops, samples, different sequences, the little flip at the end to something entirely different, drops, mutes, all of that. That's what I'm talking about. Give your track some dynamics. Give it some peaks and valleys. If you're just going straight through with the same loop, not changing anything, not varying anything, not doing anything else with it, it's going to be very boring. And I know hip hop is at least rap beats, I'll say that, is a very repetitive art form, but that's so you could actually rap over it. It doesn't necessarily have to be the exact same thing, even while you rap over it. But that's where, the verses go. But man, I loved everything about this track that Lock submitted. My dude, please, please, please keep it coming, my man. You're definitely an inspiration to me and others. I will say that. Thank you, my man. All right, let's bring it up to Detroit to my man, Sho-Nuff. Let's see what he's doing.
Come on.
A gallon of reality and punching haters in their face. That be my specialty. Live them all on them bogus technicalities. Fight for all your pride, get your salary. Come on.
Once again, fight. And if you wanna put up in your freaking chest. Once again, fight. And if you wanna put up in your freaking chest. Once again, fight. And if you wanna put up in your freaking chest. Once again, fight.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to keep it very simple. And I'm going to read his his submission that he sent. Said, dude, I just can't express how much I was sad in the day we lost this brother. His was a voice that could be heard throughout the soundtrack of my life. I hope that this track captures the true essence of ATCQ and the Funky Diabetic, the Funky Diabetic, the 5-foot freak, the incredible Phife Dawg. Rest in peace. If that doesn't sum it all up for you, I don't know what will. That track was dope. That, first of all, that was classic Sho right there. If you're not a regular follower of the program, if you haven't followed us in the last year or so, that is Sho-Nuff. That is what he does. He's damn good at what he does. That was beautiful. It was almost, dare I say, a Bomb Squad type layering with the samples, almost, because there was various samples throughout the joint that made up the actual beat, and then different stabs and whatnot that came in, here and there. It wasn't constant, and I really appreciate that. Overall, I don't have a lot to say about this joint, and I'm happy. Other than it was dope. Holy crap. I loved everything about it. I love the different change-ups. I love the different vocal stabs and stuff like that. Especially of Phife himself and of A Tribe Called Quest. This was nice. Very nice, my man. I'm done talking about it. It's that simple. All right, let's keep it going. We're going to head back to the West Coast now, to a gentleman that I've been waiting to see what he's going to do this year. He's back with us, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, he never left, but he's definitely going to be participating more this year. I see it. My man, RTO Beats. Let's go. even had a record stop to it. I love it. RTO, my man, Fairfield, California. Holy crap. Woof. That was dope. As soon as it came on and the drums hit, I was just like, oh, damn. The drums, first of all, slap. Oh, my God. Those are some very hard drums. I love hard drums. And not necessarily just hard drums for the purpose of being hard, but drums that actually stand out. They're distinct. They actually add to the track. They're not overpowering. They're definitely not underpowered within the track as well. I like drums that stand out and just add to the track. Man, that was dope. I loved every minute of it. I loved the R.I.P. R.I.P. I love that. I loved it was a stab, a couple of different stabs. I didn't get it at first, but I didn't remember. The elevator music in the background, that was from Midnight Marauders. It then had the narrator, the robot narrator, or however, from Midnight Marauders. That was dope. Had the chops of her saying Phife Dawg and whatnot. Overall, I mean, he said it. I had fun with this one. Yes, that's what it's all about, man. This isn't work. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's been said a lot of times that if you enjoy what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And I know a lot of us still have 9-to-5s. I get that. But this is not the 9-to-5. This is possibly creating another source of income, but you can have fun in the process. So it doesn't have to be so serious. It doesn't have to be strict. I got to follow this formula. Nah, have some fun with it, dude. Especially if you know what you're doing, especially with everything that you have access to, you know, to create said track. Have some damn fun with it. And he definitely did that here because there's a nice amount of things going on. There was a couple different change-ups, like where the beat just flipped to something entirely different. Especially, I think it was around the 140, where it just flipped into, it had the drums, the percussion, and then it actually went into almost like a trap type track, using the same sample from the original, I should say the rest of the song. That was dope. That was a very, very dope flip. Something different, something dynamic in the song. The song should evolve, and that's what it did. And then it comes right back to the main part of the song. Absolutely beautiful, RTO. Holy crap, man. Please continue to bring that this year, my man. Whew. That got me pumped. Thank you, dude. All right, let's bring it back to Detroit. Holler at my man, Mr. Wallace.
Look at Wallace play.
Double negative.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Wallace. Doing what Mr. Wallace does oh so very well. No way around that. Yo, if you didn't tell by my reaction, that track was incredibly dope to me. I enjoyed everything about that. I remember him saying this. He said in his submission that he studied the first album, People's Instinctive Travels on the Parts of the Rhythm. Their very first album, and for those who may not know or remember, that's the album that has Can I Kick It, Bonita Applebum, Left My Wallet in El Segundo. There's a couple other ones off of there that were very, very popular. But he wanted to try to cover that vibe. And man, did he. He even went as far as to, because this is the kind of stuff that happened in music back then, just random stuff. He even included some girls singing Salami, which is a jump rope song. If you're a black and you grew up in the inner city, you know about that kind of stuff. But yeah, I love the way that fit into the track, as well as all the other stuff. He used Duke Ellington's All My Love. Excellent use of that. And I'm assuming everything, for the most part, from the main part of the song came from that. Very, very dope. As his classic drums and clap with the tams, the swing, the just overall illness that is this beat and what he normally brings to the table. Sickening, my man. Jeez, Pete. I could definitely see them ripping that today or back in the 90s. That is classic ATCQ. Excellent job, my man. All right, and finally, closing out this podcast and this tribute to our man, we got our man TaurusBeat. Let's get it in. Ladies and gentlemen, TaurusBeat closing out episode 117 of the weekly homework assignment and podcast, the Phife Dawg, A Tribe Called Quest tribute. Yeah, bruh. I like that. I really like that. That's actually, I would say that's more of the Beats, Rhymes, and Life type of era, I would say. Because they had a song that sounded similar to that. What was it called? Stressed Out with Faith Evans, if I'm not mistaken. It kind of reminds me of that. Really, 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 really like that track. Taurus is the man. He does it. It's not much to say about it, to be honest. But one thing I'm noticing over the last couple of submissions or few submissions from Taurus, because he was in the Bang Show as well, Taurus is evolving. For the first couple of years, and this is no stab at him at all, for the first couple of years, his submissions kind of all had the same type of tone and feel, even though they were very different every time, but they had the same type of tone and feel. Whereas the stuff that I'm hearing from him this year is different, yet it's still Taurus. And I know people who are veterans here or people who have been following the program, I know they can feel me on that. I'm really appreciating that. I love watching people's evolution. And, this is year 4 of CMA and the Weekly Homework Podcast. And there's a number of people who have been here at least for a couple of years. And, like Ray D and Third Degree, they've been here since almost from the beginning. Same thing with 18th Dynasty. Since pretty much the beginning when we first kicked this thing off. So now, I'm watching them and seeing what they're doing. And Taurus came in at the tail end of that first year. So this is going into his 3rd year of being with us. And man, it's beautiful seeing his evolution. I got to give him props for that. And I don't know, well, no, I'm not going to say that. I was actually going to say, I don't know if it's strictly for this particular submission because he wanted to try to get an ATCQ type feel, but no, this is Taurus in general. He's evolving, he's changing his sound. So shout out for that. But dude, loved everything about that. And I think it was Third Degree that I was talking to earlier as far as dirtying up the drums. You can listen to Taurus's drums and tell that they are much cleaner originally, but he actually dumbed them down, filtered them down, crushed them or however it was, and made them sound a little dirtier. That's what I'm talking about. I'm glad he did that. That's the perfect example right there. So now you have an idea what I'm saying. But man, everything about this, totally different Taurus on this particular track. Loved it. And I really loved how everything kind of sounded almost mono, where it almost sounded like everything was almost right in the center. And then it gets to certain parts to where it spreads out and you can hear it in stereo almost with certain percussion and certain instruments panned or wide. That is beautiful. Again, you want to stimulate your listener and especially the artist that you're working with. You want to give them something to where, oh, when this kicks in, I can write about this. It inspires me to do this or whatever. I love that about this track. I love what Taurus did with that. Taurus still comes through with beautiful keys and layers. Overall, I'm done talking about Taurus, man. I've wasted the last 3 years on you, bro. No. But yo, excellent track, man. I got to give major shouts out to everybody that contributed this weekend. Let me try to get this in one breath. TaurusBeats, Mr. Wallace, RTO Beats, Sho-Nuff, DJ Lockturnal, Davenport, Ray D 3000, Gemini 4D, 18 Dynasty, Netmaker, OK Joey, Third Degree, and Ron B. Thank you all for submitting. Thank you to everybody who are members at CMA, because there's a nice amount of people that are still new to CMA that you have not heard from yet. And we need to work on that. Because I know you're all listening to this podcast. Get off your butt. Make something happen. But before we close out, I got to give major shout out to my man, Phife Dawg. Because as I said, he's one of my favorite MCs of all time. I was a huge Tribe fan. I owned everything that they did. And I even owned his solo work. And I knew the struggle he was going through with his health. And, you know, he got a kidney transplant from his wife, and he had been doing well over those last few years. And I guess it just took, you know, another turn for the worse. And unfortunately, with terminal illnesses, that's what happens, you know, where you're good and then it might come back and bite you. Beyond that, besides that, Phife was an incredible MC. He was an incredible personality. I really enjoyed him as a person outside of what he did on the mic. and there will never be another Phife Dawg. I'm happy and saddened about that at the same time, but I'm glad that I was able to experience your music, and it will live on forever. So thank you for everything that you've done, my man. We're gonna miss you. And to everybody watching, thank you. Everybody listening, thank you. If you would like to be in the future podcast, if you would like to improve on what you do as far as music and make better music, come on over to computermusicacademy.com and join us. It is that simple. I'm done for the week. Two O's back there sleep, and we will talk to you next time. See ya.